Hello everyone. My name is Art Russell. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, it may seem as though I'm rambling in places, but I hope that you'll bear with me and watch the video through to the end. I assure you that there is a serious point involved. I'm going to begin by sharing a short wisdom story that you may have heard before, and it goes by various names. But for this video, I'm going to call it the God Will Save Me story. The story begins with a heavy rainfall, and a local town is threatened when rising floodwaters threaten to wash away people's homes and threaten the lives of the residents. And because of this, everyone is advised to flee from their homes, go to higher ground. But one man is reluctant to do this. And as the flood rises, a rowboat being rowed by one man approaches the man's house. The man is standing on the front porch, and the man in the rowboat calls, "Come on, jump into the rowboat. I'll save you, I'll save you." And the man who owns the home says, "No, thank you very much. God will save me. God will save me." The man in the rowboat can't believe his eyes, but he has to just continue rowing on. Maybe someone else can use him, and he can be of service to someone else. The floodwaters continue to rise, and the man who owns the home has to go inside, and he goes up to the second floor, and then he goes out to a balcony. The water is rising that high. And from out of nowhere, a power a power boat comes by, and a couple people on board that boat call to him, say, come on board, come on board, we'll save you." And the resident of the home, the man, says, "Thank you very much, but God will save me, God will save me." The people can hardly believe their eyes, and off they go in the motorboat. And as the waters continue to rise, the man has to climb higher in his house, and in fact he makes his way out onto the roof, and he's clinging to the chimney. And suddenly a helicopter appears, and there's a rope dangling from it, and somebody in the helicopter with a megaphone says, "Grab the rope, grab the ladder, the rope ladder, and we'll save you." The man calls up and he says, "Thank you, but no, God will save me, God will save me." The helicopter finally has to take off, and as you can imagine, the floodwaters have risen to the point where the house is knocked over, the man drowns, and he soon finds himself in heaven. Now, this is a story. He finds himself in heaven before God, and he said, God, I had so much faith in you. Why didn't you save me?" And to that he hears the reply, "What did you want? I sent you a rowboat, a powerboat, and a helicopter." So there's the story. Now, due to my own innocent ignorance, when I first heard that probably 30 years ago, I thought it was just a lame joke. Now I'm going to offer my interpretation of the story, which actually has a much deeper meaning. It is meant to prompt us to question, how does God act? How does the formless act? God expresses itself, capital, through the human vehicles, these flesh and bone instruments. We're meant to act on behalf of the higher self, not the illusory separate self that quite often, either subtly or overtly, has this little dialogue going on within that says, "What's in this for me?" Now, I'm going to admit that I fell prey to that on certain levels for a good part of my life. Now, not most of it. I mean, I was attempting to be a good person. Now, there's a higher perspective, much higher. True self, our essence, is not trying to get at all. It's trying to give and be of service. This, to me, is the higher message. And it's directly connected to and related to the subject of non-duality, and also crosses over into discussion about the law of attraction. I'd like you to consider these questions as far as your actions, and I think that they can help guide you to greater success and a tremendous feeling of giving and being of service. Here are some of the questions I'd like you to just to ask yourself. Are you living to get or to give? That alone is a clear indicator about whether you're acting on behalf of the false self, the separate conceptual self of name and form, or whether you're acting on behalf of the divine essence that only wishes to give love, peace, kindness, compassion. It's never asking to take. Another question, on whose behalf are you acting? Again, kind of redundant, but another indicator. When we tap into our true purpose, which is to serve, we're trying to help others. There really are no others, but we're bringing something positive to the world rather than saying, this I take for this character. Are you offering a solution to someone's problem or making their situation worse? Now, I'm going to share a personal story that just has happened to me over the last month or so, and I'm eternally grateful already, even though a dramatic change just happened yesterday. So I don't normally share this with anyone, really, a couple family members, but I had been going through some health issues related to breathing. And I don't have any of those. I've normally been a pretty healthy guy, very fortunate. I usually tell myself a very positive story, and I was waking up in the middle of the night aware of having a little tickle there and some phlegm in the morning after morning for a few weeks. And that stuff was green. It's not a good sign. You don't have to be a paramedic, a nurse, or a doctor to know that. And I tried various methods, and I went to an ER department, a local ER department, and they were helpful and prescribed something. And I just finished that for a week. But when I knew a few days into that, I thought, I'm still waking up in the middle of the night. So I made an appointment with a local community health center, and I went to them yesterday. And I met with an incredible team. And here's the point. It was so obvious that these wonderful, caring professionals, beings, were expressing, all of them were being conduits to the higher self. Here's a little bit of the evidence. I should be done with all of this in a few days. And I'm happy to report that this morning I was able to sleep through till 6 o'clock rather than waking at 2 or 3 in the morning with that feeling of like an occluded straw where you're drawing your breath, your very breath. Think of it. What you're offering to the world may mean the very breath of life to someone. This is so sincere. Our higher self wants nothing, only to give. It's just a knowing, and its heart, its essence, is just full of love. When we allow actions to take place from that perspective, everyone benefits, including the vehicle, the flesh and bones. This is my way of saying thank you to those caring individuals who weren't rushing me out of an office, a doctor who took half an hour with me and probably would have given more. I don't think I was holding up anyone. They have longer appointments. It actually reminded me of the old ways of medicine when there was time to truly communicate, not to hold up the line of other people who are just as important as this guy or more, but I view us as all being level. Now, what do I know about this personally on a deeper level? I'll share that in my younger years, when I was trying to be great from an egoic point, I wanted to accomplish something to perhaps impress my wife, or maybe the conceptual self that said, I have to achieve to be worthy. What I'm sharing in this video is your worth is intrinsic. You don't have to do anything. A life calling, a purpose, or a way of giving. Maybe you're pushing someone out of a snowstorm when they're driving their car. Maybe you're taking your time to help them. Maybe you see someone struggling to carry their groceries out of a store, and you give of your time to help. In the last few years, well, actually, it was 2019 that I found a book coming through this vehicle. A title came to me in 2011 called This Taste of Flesh and Bones. And in 2019, Source, Higher Self, started dictating that book to me. And I know I'm on the right track with it because of a couple of reasons. Making money isn't the point. If it can help one reader question what they truly are, not who, not the Art Russell, not the Jane Doe, the John Smith, but to go deeper and find that deeper dimension of self, then what I paid to publish that book will have been worth it. And what I was really happy about from a non-egoic point when I had it published was the goal of making money for this illusory separate self was not the primary aim then, and it's still not the aim now. So thank you for bearing with me through this kind of testimonial and story about the rowboat, the powerboat, and the helicopter. When we allow our higher self, this vehicle, to be a conduit to the energies of the higher self, our life will definitely be very rewarding. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for uplifting your neighbors and being a conduit to love. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.